I am John Ray Emperez, and I will be going to discuss the Section 6 of the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines, which is the Labor, Works, and Payment. 19. The labor. What qualification or characteristics must the contractor's workmen have? The contractor's workmen should be competent and duly qualified professionals. The contractor should not employ careless and incompetent workers that may obstruct the work. Article 20. Work. Methods and appliances. The contractor shall use methods and appliances for the performance of the work, as will ensure the completion of the work of the required quality within the completion. If, before the commencement of the project, there are things that the owner does not approve of the method that are going to be used, the owner may order the contractor to improve their method or change their method for more efficient work. Article 20, Passage 2. The laying of the work. All stakes and benchmarks placed by the contractor in laying out the work and approved by the owner shall be carefully guarded and preserved by the contractor, unless such stakes or marks are displaced or rendered useless through the carelessness or neglect of the owner or of his agents or employees. They shall be replaced by the contractor at his expense. Article 20, Passage 3. The defective work. Work that fails to comply with the contract is defective. Defective work shall be condemned by the owner upon discovery, and when such work has been condemned, it shall be immediately removed by the contractor and replaced in accordance with the drawing and specification. Article 20, Passage 4. The inspection of work. The owner shall have access at all times to the work. The contractor shall furnish without additional charge or reasonable facilities, labor, and materials necessary for the convenient inspection and test that may be required by the inspector. The owner shall provide inspectors authorized to witness the pouring of concrete in the absence of the owner inspector at any time during the progress of the work shall be an implicit approval of the quality of the cement used in the authority to pour it. If the specification, the owner instructor, the law, or any public authority requires any work to be specifically tested or approved, the contractor shall give timely notice to the owner and other parties required to make or be present at inspection date and time of such inspection. If any work should be covered up without timely notice to the owner, or before the owner can make a timely inspection thereof, it must, if required by the owner, be uncovered for examination at the contractor's expense. However, notwithstanding the failure of the owner to make a timely inspection of the work before it is covered, its re-examination may be ordered by the owner, and if so ordered, the work must be uncovered by the contractor at the owner's expense. But if such work is found null in accordance with the contract, the contractor shall shoulder the cost of uncovering and redoing the work. There are indications that the work done is not in accordance with the drawings and specification. The owner may at any time before final acceptance of the work make an examination of the portion already completed by removing or tearing out the same. The contractor shall on request furnish all necessary facilities, labor, and materials. If such work is found to be defective in any material respect due to the fault of the contractor or his subcontractor, the contractor shall defray all the costs of such examination and of satisfactory reconstruction, and all inspection and tests shall be performed as not to delay the work unnecessarily. Article 20, Passage 5. Work during an emergency. The contractor shall perform any work and shall furnish and install all materials and equipment necessary during an emergency endangering life or property. In such cases, Article 18, Passage 1 shall apply. Article 20, Passage 6. Increase or decrease quantities of work. Adjustment in works drawing to suit field condition which cannot be perceived at the time of calling for bids may be necessary during construction. It is the essence of the contract to recognize such changes in drawing as normal. The resulting change in quantities or the increase in the scope of work of the contractor shall be covered by a change order. Work done by the contractor without timely notice to the owner that an adjustment is required of contract price and completion time shall be at his own risk and expense. 20 Passage 7. Changes in the work. Change order by owner. The owner may at any time order extra work or make changes by altering, adding to, or deducting from his scope of work and within the general scope thereof, provided, however, that the resulting overruns or underruns from the quantities or costs in debit do not exceed 25%. Such changes shall be ordered by the owner in all. Changes of subsurface condition. If during the progress of the work subsurface conditions at the site materially different from those shown on the drawing or indicated in the specification or in the contract document are discovered or encountered, the attention of the owner shall be called at such condition before they are disturbed. Commencement of contract. The work shall be executed under the condition of the contract. If changes under paragraphs A and paragraph shall cause an increase or decrease in the amount due under the contract or in the time required for or money of its performance, an equitable adjustment shall be made and the contract modified accordingly. The values of extra work. The value of any extra work or change shall be determined by the owner in any one or more of the following ways: by a lump sum acceptable to the contractor, by a unit price either stipulated in the contract or subsequently agreed upon, provided the aggregate value of changes does not exceed 25% of the original contract price of the particular paid item, by actual direct cost plus value added tax, if any, plus 15% for contractor's profit and overhead. Award of extra work to other contractors. In case any extra work shall be required in the project performance of the work, and the contractor and the owner shall fail to arrive at any agreements as to the adjustment of contract price and or completion time, the owner may award such extra work to another contractor. 20 Passage 8. Claims for extra cost. If the contractor claims that any instruction by the owner or the drawings or a specification issued after submission of the bid involve a change, shall give the owner written notice thereof within 15 days after the receipt of such instruction, drawing, or specification as much as possible before proceeding to execute the work, except in an emergency. 20 Passage 9. Claiming after the completion of work. All of the things that are not going to be used or recycled anymore should be cleared off inside. The contractor shall always keep the site clean. 20 Passage 10. Use of completed portions of work. The owner may take possession of completed portion or partially complete, as long as they keep at ease. But taking possession of that portion does not mean it is already accepted. 20 Passage 11. Substantial completion and its effect. There is substantial completion when the contractor completes 95% of the work, provided that the remaining work, the performance of the work necessary to complete the work, shall not prevent the normal use of completed portion. The owner shall be deemed to have recognized substantial completion of the work through the approval by the owner of the contractor's billing for completing at least 95% of the work. The issuance of certificate of substantial completion are equivalent document. However, the date of this document should not be controlling if the substantial completion is shown to have been made at an earlier date, unless the contractor accepts the certificate without taking exceptions thereto in writing within 15 days from receipt. The equipment, fixtures, and furnished and or installed by the contractor, which the contract requires to be test run prior to the acceptance, shall be the test run successfully before the work can be accepted as substantially completed. The owner shall without delay cause the test run of the facility, should the constructor be unable to completely install or furnish and test run the facility through no fault of his, the contractor shall automatically be entitled to an extension of completion time equal to the period of delay. Issue to the contractor one or more lists of defects found or discovered on the completed work, otherwise known as a punch list or list, which the contractor must receive from the owner not later than 30 days from date of substantial completion. The owner may add to the punch list items but only as to corrective work on the items in the original punch list or list not later than 60 days from the date of substantial completion. Liquidated damage for delay beyond the completion time shall accrue up to the date of substantial completion if the targeted date of completion has arrived and the contractors cannot achieve 95% completion of the work due to the uncompleted facility caused by the owner's fault. The contractor shall be deemed to have achieved substantial completion provided the contractor has completed at least 95% of the work minus the uncompleted facility. The contractor has completed the work required in the facility, but for that which is directly affected by the owner's fault, the owner shall release to the contractor the contract price list because of the completed portion of the work in amounts mentioned in Article 22, Passage 3. Article is to ensure that the contractor is paid for work completed and for the owner to retain such portion of the contract price which together with the performance bond is sufficient to complete the work without additional cost to the owner. Period of making good of known defects or faults. The expression periods of making good of known defects or faults shall mean a period of not more than 30 calendar days calculated from the date of receipt by the contractor of the last item the punch list submitted during the period provided in Article 20, Passage 11, during which the contractor shall complete the corrective works. Article 20, Passage 30, making goods of known defects or faults. The contractor shall execute his own expense all the work necessary for making good of known defects, imperfections, or faults within the period stated in Article 20, Passage 12. Special test inspection. Special test inspection or approval not otherwise required in contract which the owner instructs the contractor to perform after the date of substantial completion shall be treated as a separate work which shall be covered by the supplemental agreement. Passage 15. The acceptance of non-conforming. If the owner accepts defective or non-conforming work instead of requiring its removal and correction, the owner shall issue to the contractor a change order to reflect a reduction in the contract price for appropriate by an amount not exceeding the value of the unfinished work as determined the breakdown of work and the corresponding value. Passage 16. The adjustment of prices. There shall be added to or deducted from the contract price such sum affecting the execution of the work caused by the end of the following. Adjustment of prices due to the escalation or reduction of cost of executing the work shall be made using a parametric formula to be agreed upon 30 days by the parties. In default of such agreement, the parametric formula under applicable law shall be applied. Such an adjustment shall be made to provide equitable relief to both the owner and the contractor, allowing neither to gain nor lose by such application. The judgment of prices shall be determined on the basis of the original contract unit price of labor and materials and such unit prices in effect during the relevant period of working accomplishment. Price shall be adjusted not oftener than once a month due to the increase or decrease of the direct cost of labor and materials of more than 5% of the original contract unit price of the relevant items of work. The adjustment shall include the first 5%. In any case, the project is behind schedule by more than 15% from the approved construction schedule not to the excusable delays. The payment for work accomplished should be made on the basis of the contract price as adjusted in accordance with the escalation rate applicable during the period in which it should have been accomplished. This Article 20 policy shall not apply to an increase or decrease in the cost of the materials and service provided or supplied by the owner. Passage 17. Payment and legal tender. Payments and money under the contract shall be made in the currency stipulated, and if it is not legally possible to deliver such currency, then in the currency which is legal tender in the Philippines.